Hi everybody, this is Bruce here. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Traveling with Bruce. Please subscribe to my channel today and become a key supporter of Traveling with Bruce by clicking the Patreon link. Enjoy the video. Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Today I am going to talk to you about repositioning cruises. You may have heard about them. You might be wondering what they're all about. I can tell you they're a pretty great way to take a trip on the cheap. Repositioning cruises are simply this. Cruise ships are kept in certain regions of the globe at certain times of the year by the cruise companies. So for example, in the summertime, a number of cruise companies will have extra ships in the Mediterranean area, Mediterranean Sea. And they'll be calling on all kinds of ports in the Mediterranean, up the coast of France to the UK, Northern Europe perhaps, Hamburg and Copenhagen and Helsinki, Oslo. And then when it comes to the fall, September, October, it's time to consider moving these ships back to the Caribbean. Maybe it's time to just move them to Miami or to Fort Lauderdale and use them just for Caribbean cruising in the wintertime. Well, that means the ship has to be moved from Europe to Fort Lauderdale or Miami or Tampa or wherever it's going to be based out of, and that's called a repositioning cruise. Now, rather than take the 6-day direct suicide run across the Atlantic and land in Florida, the cruise companies have figured out, you know what, if we do a 12, 14, 15, 17-day cruise, we could start the cruise maybe in Hamburg, Germany, and then we could stop in Southampton for a day and let the passengers get off and see a little bit of the UK for a day trip, and then we can stop in the maybe in Lisbon, Portugal, and do a day trip there. We could go to maybe the Canary Islands and do a stop there, and then we'll go across the Atlantic and stop maybe in Bermuda, or we'll stop in the Bahamas, and then we'll go to Miami. So the total length of the cruise could be a 14-day cruise, but really 6 or 7 days are actually stops along the way to make the trip more palatable. And as an inducement to get passengers to take this one-way trip, because remember, you're not coming back to Hamburg at the end of the trip, they give you discounts. Keep in mind, cruise ships keep the crew on board the ship. So all the room attendants are there, the chefs, the cooks, the cleaning staff, the engineers, they're all still on the ship. They all have to be paid. They all have to work every day to keep the ship running and maintain and so on. So why not make at least the trip break even or try to make a few bucks by doing a reposition cruise? And this happens from Europe to the U.S., but it can also happen from the U.S. to Europe in the springtime, because the cruise ships have to go back to the Mediterranean or back to Northern Europe from Caribbean spots. There are other repositionings all over the world. Every cruise line does it. Sometimes ships have to go in for servicing for a week or two, and they'll do one last repositioning cruise before the ship is taken in for servicing. It'll be offline for a week or two, or maybe a month for major refurbishment. Then it's brought back online and it's delivered to the next port of call, and it'll start plying its trade again, whether it's a Caribbean area or European area, that type of thing. So I'm going to show you on my computer how you can find repositioning cruises, how you can price them, how you can kind of keep an eye on them and look for a good deal, and we'll see if we can learn something. We'll learn something together. Okay, talk to you in a minute. Okay, everybody, we're back. This is a shot of my computer, and forgive my crude way of showing you how to do this, but let's go into this site I've talked to you about before. It's called vacationstogo.com, the world's largest cruise agency. Quick reminder, I am not being paid by these people. I wouldn't mind being paid by these people, but I'm not being paid by these people. I'm not being paid by anybody, actually. I support myself, and by the way, if you visit my Patreon site, you can support me on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, and boy, would I appreciate it. Let's go to this tab right here that says Show Me the Deals. I'll click on that, and we will come to the section here where it says Find a Bargain. And there are 27,260 cruises which we can look for. And I thought what I would do here is take us up and show you how I find repositioning cruises. This is September 2017, so why don't we start here? This is this month. And I thought, why don't we take a look until like next year, April. That's, what is that, 6-7 months? You can do any time frame you want, it doesn't matter. Here the next tab says choose a region, and if you click on this little arrow, you'll get a menu of all these different areas, and I'm going to go right down here to where it says repositioning. Okay, I got repositioning there. I don't care who the cruise line is. I don't care what the name of the ship is, but I am going to say I'm looking for a repositioning cruise that's a longer cruise, so I want 14 or more nights. Show me the deals. I don't care where it departs from. I don't care where it departs from, goes to, doesn't matter to me. I want to see them all. So show me the deals. I'm clicking on this, and the page will load up here, and we've got here prices in US dollars, the cheapest overall cruise rates. These are generally inside rooms unless noted on the side here. And at the very top, for fun, we'll just look at this one. It's departing, this one's departing in 5 days, so I don't think any of us are going to make it, but it's departing out of Amsterdam, going to Fort Lauderdale for a month. Holland America, Koningsdam, regularly $6,400 or $6,500, on sale for $2,700. To me, that's not even a good enough deal to worry about, but I thought it was interesting to see the first one on the list. Let's take a look here and see something that might catch our eye. I've been noticing lately the folks at Norwegian have been offering deals, really interesting deals on their cruises. Here's a Norwegian getaway. This is on the ship getaway from Copenhagen to Miami. It's a 14-day cruise departing October 15th. If I click on this button here, I get the details on this cruise. 14 nights on the Norwegian getaway. An inside room is $533. A balcony is $1,174. These are prices per person in U.S. funds, window room, and then suites. But if you book an inside room, the cheap one, they also will throw you a $25 cabin credit. So not much in the way of add-ons here, but the price is pretty good starting off. You start off in Copenhagen, you sail to Ponta Delgata, which is kind of the Canary Islands. You're at sea for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. So you're at Ponta Delgata for 1 day. Then you're at sea for 1, 2, 3, 4 more, and you end up in this case, St. Martin and then St. Thomas. Something tells me you're not going to end up in St. Martin and St. Thomas because of Hurricane Irma, but they will make alternate arrangements for other islands in the area, and they'll let us know when. But this one here is pretty well, a lot of sea days, not many stops along the way, but price is right for, I'll scroll up to the top here, $533 American a person with add tips and taxes. I'm going to guess tips are about $25, $30 a day. That's about $300 more, so that's $833. Let me rephrase that. It's $533 a person, so let's double that, $1,066. Add $300 for tips, $1,366. Add about $200 for taxes, $1,566. So $1,600 American, you're in business. And then, whatever specialty drinks you want and any specialty restaurant. So to go from there, Copenhagen, all the way to Miami, Florida, a 15-day cruise, you can certainly relax and take it easy. Not a bad offer. Just an example of going across the Atlantic from there back. Here's one from Honolulu to Sydney, Australia on the Celebrity Solstice. Still rather pricey though. Look at that price, $2,600. Let's see, Rome to Fort Lauderdale, $978. I'm going to do a little thing right here called our starting price. See the little button here? I'm going to click on that. Watch what happens now. The prices of all the cruises start from lowest to highest. Okay? So we can see $500 cruises, $700, $750, $769. So a ton of them under $1,000 a person. Okay? These are all 14 days or longer. And so this $20-day cruise is on the Palma Tour Zenith. It's only a 3.5 star, so it's more of a glorified ferry. I wouldn't be too crazy about that myself. Here's one, Miami to Barcelona. That's next April. To give you an idea, you can plan this well out. 14 days from Miami, $769. Let's take a look at that per person. Here we go. This is on the Norwegian Star. If you go for a balcony, it's $1,726, so it's more than double. Inside room might be the way to go. If you take an inside room, they're offering you a $50 credit on the cabin, and you can take one of these deals. You can either have a beverage package, a dining package, 250 minutes of internet, $50 cabin at shore excursion credit, and if you take more than 2 people, you pay only taxes and fees for the 3rd and 4th passengers, sharing the same cabin. So a family of 4, this is a heck of a bargain. But you're on an inside room. Go with a balcony, they'll offer you 2 of these offers. So you can have a beverage package, a meal package, the 250 internet, $50 credit, and pay only taxes and fees for the 3rd and 4th passengers. So you take the kids, you take option number 5, and maybe the adults take option number 1 or option number 2, depending on what you like. Anyway, there you go, $1,726, 14 nights, a little over $100 a day for the 2 adults per, and then the other the 2 kids are basically taxes and what do they call it? Taxes and fees extra. That's pretty good. Anyway, there's an idea on repositioning cruises. You can set this up in any way you want. Whatever dates you want to search for, whatever cruise line you want, the length of cruise, you can specify 7 days or 8 to 13-day cruises. It's up to you. I check this often. I never take the first deal I see. I like to look them over and see how they're trending. Sometimes these prices change; they start going down. So you watch it one day, watch it a week later, watch it a week later, and if you see the price is still dropping, you know, maybe it gets to a point where it gets to be so cheap you jump on it. It's a great way to get a nice distanced cruise, a nice long cruise for one heck of a great price. You certainly can't afford this in primetime season, for example, New Year's Eve cruises or Christmas cruises. You'll never get 14 days for $700 or $800 a person, not a chance. But for a repositioning cruise, it's something to consider. You fly home one way and you shop around for the airfare, especially if you have time with regard to these cruises. If you're 6 months out, you got 6 months to find the airfare home. Maybe you'll fly to Europe a week or two before the cruise, visit that for a little bit, do some European traveling, then you come back on the cruise. On the other side, you go to Orlando first for a week or so, or 3 or 4 days, Universal Studios. Then you grab a cruise out of Florida to across the ocean. You can do this a myriad of ways. Okay, there's an idea for you. Okay, so there's a bit of an idea for you on repositioning cruises. There's a billion ways you can put this combination together, as I was just saying a minute ago. The vacationstogo.com is a great site to play with. You can tinker and you know, do a lot of ideas. You can maybe pick 3 or 4 cruises that really, you know, tickle your fancy and keep an eye on all of them. And at the last minute or in the last month or 2 or 3, you decide, okay, it's choice number 3 that's going to be the one we want. Why? Well, the price is right. Or you know, we've decided that Portugal and Spain is where we want to visit, or you know, we want to go to Italy, and we'd like to get a repositioning cruise out of Rome back to the United States rather than maybe out of Southampton. I mean, it runs the gamut. You can't go wrong with any repositioning cruise. The price you pay is so good, so reasonable that in many cases, 2-week cruise at maybe $1,000 a person all in. Geez, that's less than $100 a day for upwards of a 5-star hotel that's available to you. You have a room steward to look after you. They'll bring you ice every day. They'll bring you breakfast in your room every morning if you want. Room service is generally included in all these cruises. It's a pretty good deal. So anyway, there's an idea on repositioning cruises. Keep an eye on my channel. I'm going to keep posting videos on how you can save money cruising and what's going on in the cruise world. If you like what you see, hit the like button. I'd love that. We love the thumbs ups. Also, consider subscribing to my channel. I'd like to grow my subscriber list, and that way you'll be notified every time I do a new video. You'll know another one's on the way, and you can keep an eye on it. And if it hits your fancy, visit my Patreon page. I'm trying to raise some money from supporters, from Patreons, hopefully like you. And every contribution I get, starting at a measly $1 a month as a fan, helps. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Lets me know I'm doing the right thing, and we'll just keep it going. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next video on Traveling with Bruce.